Welcome, everybody, to another Blues reaction podcast. The Blues fall to the Buffalo Sabres tonight, 4-3 in overtime. And now the St. Louis Blues are 7-9-1 on this season. Before we get into this game tonight and recapping everything that happened within it, make sure to go follow us on all social media. If you're listening or viewing this on YouTube right now, make sure to like the video and subscribe over there. If you're listening on Spotify or Amazon Music, make sure to follow and rate the podcast over there. And of course, go follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and on Twitter at Arch City Sports. We use Instagram and TikTok a lot, so make sure to go follow us over there. We'd really appreciate that. Like I said, though, the Blues fall in overtime tonight, 4-3, a back-and-forth game, and once again, another, now back-to-back, third-period lead given up by our St. Louis Blues. It was 3-2 after two, and I'm going to skip right ahead to the third period. Buchnevich had a goal, Brandon Saad had 2 goals, but skipping right ahead to the third period, this is where all the action happened tonight. I don't want to say it was a slow game in the first 2 periods, but the third period had a lot of controversial moments and a lot of action. Starting in the 15th minute, 5 minutes into the third period, Dylan Cousins had a crazy sequence. He body-checked with the puck, by the way. He body-checked Oscar Sundqvist out of the way, scramble in front of the net, a couple ricochets, and he got back to Cousins, and he buried it into the back of the net. Now, Sundqvist, right after that play happened, went after Benson and started shoving him around and starting something there. I thought this game was tied 3-3, and then a couple seconds later, the refs meet together, and the St. Louis Blues challenged this call of goalie interference on Benson in front of the net. Now, looking at it, it was very difficult to judge what the right call should have been in this situation. Benson was in the blue paint. But it was hard for him to kind of get out of the way because Suter was there kind of sandwiching him in between, Suter and Binnington were kind of sandwiching Benson in this scenario. So how was Benson supposed to get out of it? The refs come out of the challenge saying that it was goal interference and the goal does not count on the ice. And so obviously Buffalo's bench is upset, Benson's upset, and the entire Buffalo crowd was very frustrated with this. The reasoning behind it, and this is what one of the announcers said on ESPN Plus, was that Benson took that path into the blue paint. It would have been different if Suter was to shove him or push him into that crease there. So the fact that he went there himself, and even though he couldn't get out of that situation really, he put himself in that spot. That is why they called goal interference on that play. This game was 3-2 all the way, I believe it was 7th or 8th minute of the third period. We had so many chances to put them away. Jordan Kyrou especially, there was a 2-on-1 break with him and Buchnevich. He went forehand, backhand, tried to toss it across in front of the goalie to Buchnevich. The defenseman that was guarding, the defenseman in the middle there kind of cut Kyrou off, put a stick on his stick, and kind of messed up that pass. There was also a player kind of trailing that play that was right on Buchnevich's hip. That puck kind of bounced off. Kyrou had a wide open, just kind of one of those situations where the puck kind of just bounced right in front of the middle of the net, and it bounced off his stick. It was just him, and I believe it was Levi in goal tonight. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen was not healthy for the Sabres side. Neither was Tage Thompson, by the way. But Kyrou had a puck right in front of the net, bounced off his stick, couldn't get a shot off in that situation. And then late in this one, had a chance coming down the right wing, kind of just him and the goalie. There was a defenseman kind of trailing that play kind of in between there, and Kyrou ripped it right off the post, bounced right back, and actually Levi was so far extended, there was a lot of gap between him and the net, and Kyrou couldn't get around. The puck literally bounced right off the net, right back to Levi's backside, and he covered it up. So tough break for Jordan Kyrou, who obviously, after a very good start to the year in Seattle, has not been scoring at the frequency that we would like, especially with guys like Thomas and Broberg out. But just really tough. That was two obviously really good opportunities, and that third one just could not get it across to Buchnevich. But he was put in a lot of situations where he could have scored tonight. One really bright spot for the Blues tonight was Brandon Saad. Now, through these first couple of years of Brandon Saad being here, he's very solid, but every once in a while, there's probably 2 or 3 games a year where this dude breaks out and looks really, really good. And I'm not saying he looked super dynamic and explosive tonight, but he found the right place, the right time. Both of his goals coming from Braden Shen with the assists on both of them. And the first one, kind of a ricochet off the pad of Levi, and he put it in the back of the net. And then the other one, Shen was behind the net with the puck, and Sajas came strolling right in the middle of the net, right in the I don't want to say crease, but right in front of the net. There was an open spot there. The defensemen weren't looking. He kind of snuck in behind him, and Shen with a nice pass right on the stick there, and Saad put it in the back of the net in that one too. So he had, coming into this game in 13 games, he had 2 goals. He had 2 goals tonight to match that season total coming into this one. They ended up tying it on a very good pass by McLeod. He went behind the net. This was like with I believe it was 7 or 8 minutes left in this one. McLeod goes behind the net, behind Binnington, and he looks like he's going to go maybe for a wraparound or just bring it around the other side of the ice. And right when he sees Binnington's head turn to go towards wherever McLeod was going to go for potentially a wraparound, right when Binnington's head turns, Alex Tuck was right on the other post. And McLeod stopped on a dime, pitched it right in front to Tuck, who was staying really connected to that post, I guess left post if you're Binnington there. Binnington lost where the puck was, and it was honestly, unless there was more pressure on McLeod, there was really nothing you could do about that one. That was really well played by McLeod and Tuck, and definitely don't put that one on Binnington. I guess we could have made a better effort to hopefully get back there and prevent McLeod from passing that puck there. But very good play by the Sabres there. That tied it at 3-3. I'm going to skip ahead here. 1 minute left in the third in a 3-3 game, and then the Oscar Sundqvist goalie interference. We have a face-off. I don't remember off the top of my head who won that face-off, but Sonny goes straight crashing towards the net for a potential deflection. We shoot it on net, and he just kind of loses his balance and completely tackles Levi. They call goalie interference. Now, this is about with a 1 minute or 50-plus seconds left in the third period. The Sabres play this as perfect as possible. Instead of going down and having the Blues potentially touch the puck and then stopping it and getting a power play in the rest of the third period, they just kind of skate around and their side of the ice there and then have a 4-on-3 in overtime rather than start the power play early, which is really smart. Now, Sundqvist, if you're the Blues, Sundqvist was the only one forechecking there trying to get the puck. If you're the Blues in that situation, you got to bring everybody up past center ice to potentially and try to touch the puck so you don't go into overtime with 2 minutes of the 5 minutes of a 4-on-3 power play. So, in overtime, it was 3-on-3, obviously. Or, sorry, 4-on-3 power play, obviously. Going straight into it, we had Foxa, Parayko, and Suter on the ice, and these guys played it very well. Not giving any passing lanes. We're pretty conservative with what we were doing. Weren't very aggressive at all, and played it really solid. Now, sadly, there was no bouncing pucks that could got past the blue line. There was no deflections. I believe they only had 1 or 2 shots on goal. So, and shots in general. It wasn't even on goal. It was just right past Binnington. So we couldn't get a clearance, and it was pretty late into this power play. They broke a stick right in front of the net. One of their 4 players, he skates off. Another player comes on. We're kind of scrambled, and then Peterka, I believe that's how you pronounce his name. Peterka, yes. He skates down the left side. Tremendous cross-ice pass to Rasmus Dahlin, who ripped it right by Binnington's ear for the Buffalo Sabres victory tonight. Overall, though, I'm not super disappointed in this game and the result because at least we got a point out of it, and we're in such a tough situation with all these injuries right now. The only thing that's bothering me with this victory, or with this loss rather, is the fact that we had another lead in the third period, just like the Bruins game the other night, which I did not do a recap on, where we were up 2-0 versus the Bruins, then gave up 3 unanswered goals. Tonight, up 3-2 in the third period, have plenty of chances, not just Jordan Kyrou, but others, to go up by 2+ goals and really make this tough for the Sabres, and we just let them hang around, and you just had that feeling something was going to happen where you were just keeping them in the game. Now, overall, like I said, we get a point out of it. I don't know the direction or the goals we have rather for this season. I don't know if we want to try to make the playoffs or be a top 10 draft or get a top 10 draft pick. I don't know what the goals are for Bannister and Armstrong and everybody in the organization right now. But these are games where I like the fight. I mean, it was a gritty group tonight. I like the effort a lot. I want to shout out Ryan Suter, who's been playing on that top line with Colton Parayko, with Broberg out and others. He's filled in great. 29 minutes total tonight for Ryan Suter. This guy is pushing almost 40 years old and playing really heavy minutes on that top line, really solid for us. I'm going to get into our 3 stars for the St. Louis Blues tonight. Like I said, 7-9-1 now on the season. First star of the night, I have to give it to Brandon Saad. 2 goals now. His third and fourth goal of the season, a +2 on the ice. Definitely his best game of the year so far. The second star tonight for the Blues, I'm going to give it to Braden Shen, who fed Saad on both of those goals. 2 assists for Shen, +2 on the ice. And then I thought about it for a while on who that third star could be. I was thinking about giving it to Ryan Suter because of the heavy minute total he had, 29 minutes on that top defensive pairing with Parayko. But I'm actually going to give it to a guy who's filled in and finally gotten some playing time and produced recently. Had a goal, I believe it was last game versus the Bruins, maybe the game before, and he played really well tonight. That's Scott Perunovich, +1 on the ice, and a big total that stood out to me was 3 block shots. At one point in the game, late in this one, we had 17 block shots. I think that might have been the total that we had, unless we had 1 or 2 in overtime there, but we were out blocking them by 10+ shots at one point in this game. So that's the type of effort you want to see, especially when your stars like Thomas and Broberg are out. You want to see these guys fighting, and like I said, a really gritty performance. And I thought Saad, Shen, and Perunovich were definitely 3 guys that stood out in this one. Obviously, Saad and Shen with the goals and the assists, but Perunovich, a really solid game, a clutch block shot late in the third period on the left side of Jordan Binnington. But yeah, overall tough loss, obviously, but a tough, gritty performance from the boys tonight. Our next game is Saturday at noon versus the Boston Bruins, and then we have another one. It's the first of a back-to-back. On Sunday at 4 p.m., we play the Carolina Hurricanes at the Hurricanes. So a very tough, I guess, little road trip we have going on right now. 2 tough road games this weekend. The Bruins are a team we just saw. They came back in the third period, scored, like I said, 3 unanswered goals against us. But the Bruins are a team that are, I believe, now 8-7-2 and kind of just hovering around the middle of the pack. They obviously have star power, but they're not as unbeatable as they have been in the past. And then Carolina is a team that's just, they're very, very good for the past 4 or 5 years now. So would love to at least get the one versus Boston and then see what happens against Carolina, because then we come back on Tuesday at home versus one of the best teams in hockey this year, and that's the Minnesota Wild. So would love to at least win one of these next 2. Hopefully out of these 2 games, if you could get 3 points or more, I mean, that would be phenomenal. But I think the goal is obviously at least get 2 points with these next 2 games here. But that's going to wrap it up for this one. I will see you guys actually on Saturday night for the Blues. I guess Sunday morning, technically, for the Blues recap versus the Bruins, but also SLU versus Loyola Marymount on Saturday afternoon. So I will see you guys on Sunday morning for the reaction of those 2 podcasts. We have, or the reaction of those 2 games, rather, with a podcast. But we do have a couple other videos going to be posted these next couple days, so make sure to go check it out on Instagram and TikTok. It's from a podcast I do with a very popular page here in St. Louis, the STL Sports Central podcast, so make sure to go check them out as well. We have episodes dropping every Monday and Thursday morning. So appreciate you guys listening, and I will see you guys on Sunday morning for a recap of the Blues and SLU on Saturday night. Thanks, guys.